Thanks for joining Aso Briefing today. I am Tina Oje Achu. Our top stories. President Tinubu directs rollout of additional 500 CNG stations. FCT administration, FRSC begins enforcement against traffic violations in Abuja. Police bust alleged organ harvesting syndicate, arrest 4 suspects. You're watching Aso Briefing. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, and Free TV channel 507. Also on the UHF band on channel 38. We now go ahead with details of all our stories. President Bola Tinubu has directed the rollout of an additional 500 compressed natural gas refueling stations nationwide as part of effort to reduce transportation costs following the removal of the petrol subsidy. He said the federal government and the governors had agreed to establish a joint committee to begin implementing measures aimed at reducing transport costs. He said from October 1st, the goal of his administration is that Nigerians begin to partake in those savings through lower transport fares. The president noted that interstate transportation is where Nigerians experienced the impact of high transport costs most directly, adding that state governments were therefore central to delivering relief to commuters. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has commenced a sustained enforcement operation against traffic violations across Abuja. The exercise, being conducted in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps and other security agencies, targets offences including traffic light violations, driving against traffic, road violations, and indiscriminate parking. Usman Katan Umar report.
The FCTA says the joint enforcement is aimed at restoring sanity to Abuja's roads and improving the safety and free movement of motorists and other road users. Mandate Secretary, Transportation Secretariat, Chinedu Melechi, says a special task force will patrol strategic locations, arrest offenders, and ensure that those found violating traffic regulations face appropriate sanctions.
Offenders apprehended will face appropriate sanctions under extant laws, including mandatory medical and psychological evaluation in line with the regulations of the National Road Traffic Regulations 2012 and the sister regulation, because the FCT also has the FCT Road Traffic Regulations 2023.
The enforcement follows what the FCTA describes as increasing disregard for traffic regulations, particularly with the expansion of the capital's road network under the administration's urban renewal program. Authorities say major targets include running traffic lights, driving against traffic, using restricted routes, illegal parking at junctions, under bridges and pedestrian crossings. FRSC FCT Sector Commander Co-Commander Tijani Ilyasu says excessive overloading, route violations and dangerous driving are contributing to congestion and putting lives and property at risk. He says offenders involved in the applicable offences may also undergo prescribed medical and psychological evaluation before prosecution in line with the National Road Traffic Regulations. The FCTA Security Services Department, on their part, say the exercise also has a security dimension as unauthorized routes and loading points used by some commercial transport operators could create security risks. The department says the Nigeria Police Force, Department of State Services and other relevant agencies will support the enforcement to ensure compliance with the law.
This measure is intended to address dangerous driving behavior, promote responsive road use and protect lives and properties. It is not designed to harass or intimidate members of public. Traffic regulations are established primarily to protect life and properties, and compliance is the responsibility of every road user.
And there's no way in any city, in any nation, that you talk about better security without having an annexure with a good transportation system. And that is why we are here today.
The authorities have urged motorists and commercial transport operators to obey traffic lights and road signs, use designated routes and loading points, avoid overloading, and refrain from indiscriminate parking. The joint operation is expected to continue at strategic locations across the Federal Capital Territory. Usman Katun Umar, Aso Television News.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, has called on the National Association of Nigerian Students and other student leaders to mobilize 10 million student votes for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of the 2027 general elections. Dr. Alausa made a call in Abuja when the leadership of NANS and other student associations visited him as part of effort to strengthen engagement between the government and the student community. The minister said Nigerian students had a direct stake in the 2027 election, arguing that the continuity of the Tinubu administration would be important to sustaining ongoing reforms in education. He assured students that the monthly upkeep allowance under NEL fund would continue, adding that President Tinubu had approved additional funding sources to strengthen the sustainability of the scheme. Earlier, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement, Comrade Sunday Asefun, said the visit was aimed at strengthening communication between the Presidency, Ministry of Education, and student organizations. The NANS President, Comrade Babatunde Afis, commended the government's interventions, particularly NELFON and TVET, saying the student loan scheme had provided relief for many beneficiaries. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has assured candidates who previously uploaded their O-level results that there is no need to upload them again or obtain a new verification code. The board said this applies to candidates who uploaded their results during the current registration after the release of WAEC results or in previous years under the old process. JAM explained that all previously uploaded results remain valid and will continue to be recognized for admission purposes. It noted that the new verification process is aimed at strengthening the integrity of O-level results and preventing the use of falsified results in admissions. Candidates have therefore been advised not to panic or make unnecessary repeat upload, as institutions will carry out the required verification when necessary. The National Orientation Agency has taken its campaign against drug abuse, gender-based violence, and violation of human rights to Mabushi community in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The sensitization program was held at the palace of the Hakimin Mabushi, His Royal Highness Hassan Dangama Mabushi. It was organized by NOA's Department of Abuse, Rights and Narcotics in collaboration with the NOA FCT Directorate, OCI Foundation, and Gender Mobile Initiative. Representing the Director General of NOA, Malam Larry Isao Nilu, the Director of Abuse, Rights and Narcotics Department, Acharu Opalua, urged residents to speak out whenever their rights are violated, but cautioned against resorting to self-help. She condemned domestic violence and bullying in schools and homes, noting that beating a spouse under the guise of correction constitutes abuse. She further called for support for victims of rejection or neglect. The FCT Director of NOA, Princess Egbe, described traditional institutions as custodians of values. She called for stronger collaboration with parents, schools, and youth groups to protect young people from drug abuse. The district head of Mabushi, Hassan Dangana Mabushi, commended NOA for bringing the campaign to the community. He called for collective action by governments, parents, and youth to address the growing challenge of drug abuse. The program ended with participants calling for sustained collaboration among stakeholders to protect young people and promote a responsible, value-driven society in Nigeria. When Aso Briefing returns, more stories on business. Please stay with us. You are watching Aso Briefing. Watch us live on DSTV channel 392, also on Star Times TV, channel 127, and Free TV, channel 507. We are also on the UHF band on channel 38. The Nigeria Police Force, through the Force Intelligence Department Special Tactical Squad, says it has arrested 4 suspects in connection with an alleged criminal conspiracy, human trafficking, and illegal organ harvesting syndicate. Force spokesman CSP Anite Iniedu, who disclosed this during a briefing on Thursday, identified the suspect as 23-year-old Emmanuel Ode, 48-year-old Dr. Benjamin Oyime, a nephrologist from Edo State, 53-year-old Dr. Daniel Otukpa, also a nephrologist from Benue State, and 25-year-old David Idoko.
During interrogation, Emmanuel Ode confessed to recruiting victims under false pretenses. He stated that on the 24th of April 2026, he lured one Samuel Ezekiel M, 22 years, to where his kidney was allegedly harvested for the sum of $1,250, which is the equivalent of 1.7 million naira only. The second victim, one David Idoko, male, alleged that he was lured by the same agent in 2022 to a hospital where his kidney was harvested and he was paid the sum of 7 million naira only. Preliminary investigation indicates that the suspects and their accomplices allegedly target vulnerable and uneducated young men in Nasarawa State and its environs, exploiting their financial desperation to obtain consent for illegal organ harvesting. Evidence gathered so far indicates that the suspect forged official documents such as their victims' names, NIN, birth certificates, age declaration, and affidavits and consent letters to facilitate these criminal activities.
The latest development comes barely 24 hours after the FCT Police Command debunked viral reports alleging that young people in Iyanya have been selling their kidneys for money and that an agent in Maraba is buying human kidneys. A non-governmental organization has urged youth and other residents in the Federal Capital Territory to embrace skills acquisition in order to promote self-reliance. One of the facilitators, Vanessa Christopher, who made a call while speaking on the forthcoming FCT Search Summit to hold on the 29th of August 2026, said the initiative is designed to create opportunities for participants to acquire practical and relevant skills that can improve their livelihoods. Balumi Adeyemi tells us more.
One of the facilitators, Vanessa Christopher, explained that the program will focus on empowering people across different age groups, particularly youth and elderly residents, by equipping them with skills that could help them become economically productive. The facilitator encouraged residents across the FCT to take advantage of the summit, describing it as an opportunity to learn new skills, develop talents, and gain knowledge that could contribute to personal and economic growth.
Good morning. I am Vanessa Christopher Elijah, one of your facilitators for our upcoming program this Saturday, titled Abuja FCT Uprise. It is a transforming life program that will help you to reshape your mind, move you from your financial instability to a more sustainable position. So are you that person that needs that opportunity? Why not come? I'm inviting you specially to be with us at Green Miles Hotel, Utako, Abuja, this Saturday, 29th of August. The time is 11 a.m. Hope to see you there.
She also stressed the importance of skills acquisition in addressing unemployment and creating sustainable opportunities for individuals and families. Vanessa Christopher called on interested residents to participate actively in the summit and make use of the opportunities provided by the program. The FCT Upsurge Summit is expected to bring together residents and stakeholders committed to promoting empowerment, skills development, and economic inclusion in the Federal Capital Territory. Belumi Adeyemi, Aso Television News.
A forum of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, chief executive officers, has called for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu in 2027, saying continuity is needed to consolidate the gains of his administration's reforms. The convener of the forum and Director General of the National Board of Technology Incubation, Dr. Kazim Raji, made a call at the maiden meeting of the group in Abuja. Dr. Raji described President Tinubu as a courageous reformer who has taken difficult decisions to address some of Nigeria's long-standing economic challenges. He listed foreign exchange reforms, fiscal and tax reforms, power sector reforms, infrastructure development around the country as selling achievements to reflect or to re-elect President Bola Tinubu in 2027.
History will remember President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a leader who had the courage to confront frontally difficult and deeply entrenched structural challenges rather than postponing them for the generation yet unborn. From the onset of his administration, Mr. President demonstrated uncommon political courage by undertaking difficult but necessary reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidy, the unification of foreign exchange markets, far-reaching fiscal and tax reforms, reforms in the power sector, strengthening of development finance, expansion of infrastructure, and renewed efforts to attract domestic and international investments.
He urged heads of federal government agencies to take ownership of their achievements by delivering results, documenting their impact, and communicating them effectively to Nigerians.
Therefore, recognize that our performance is part of Mr. President's scorecard, and our successes are part of the administration story. Consequently, we must not only deliver, we must communicate, document, amplify, and properly position the achievements of our respective institutions. The Nigerian people deserve to know what government is doing.
He also called on members to mobilize support ahead of the 2027 elections through lawful, peaceful, ethical, and issue-based engagement. Nigeria's exports to China have surged by more than 200%, reflecting the deepening economic ties between both countries. As they mark 55 years of diplomatic relations, food, culture, and tourism are also opening new opportunities to strengthen people-to-people connections. These were among the key highlights of the Nigeria-China Food Festival, organized in partnership with the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism at the Chinese Cultural Center in Abuja. Joy Ani reports. We apologize. We'll bring you that report in our subsequent bulletins. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to creating an aviation environment that supports legitimate investments, promotes connectivity, and encourages international airlines to deepen their operations in Nigeria. This follows plans by the Lufthansa Group to expand its operations in Nigeria with the proposed introduction of Eurowings into the Nigerian market next year. The development was disclosed when a Lufthansa Group delegation met with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development in Abuja, where both sides also discussed the review and ratification of the bilateral air services agreement between Nigeria and Germany, signed in 2010. Speaking on behalf of the delegation, Denzen Zil said the BASA needs to be updated to reflect current realities in the aviation relationship between both countries, and also commended ongoing reforms in Nigeria's aviation sector, including the country's implementation of the Cape Town Convention. Keyamo welcomed the planned expansion, assuring the federal government's commitment to creating an environment that supports investment, strengthens international air connectivity, and deepens Nigeria's aviation relations with Germany. The president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, has announced his resignation from office. Gusau made the announcement during a media briefing at the NFF Glass House in Abuja on Thursday, Addressing the press, Gusau said he decided to step aside to give another Nigerian the opportunity to contribute their quota to the development of football in the country. He maintained that despite the failure of the Federation's men's and women's teams to qualify for the World Cups, he was leaving the NFF in a better position than he found it. The outgoing president, Ibrahim Gusau's tenure was supposed to expire in 34 days, but he resigned suddenly, stating that he consulted with family and friends. Gusau also disclosed that he had advised members of his board to resign, but said he was not aware of any board member who had so far stepped down. A church service has been organized in honor of the late Prof of Law, Cordelia Nwogbo Egu. Professor Cordelia died as a Dean Faculty of Law, Bingham University, Cairo. Topsy Gimba has the details.
Professor Cordelia Nwogbo Egu died on the 2nd of August 2026. She was the Dean Faculty of Law, Bingham University, Cairo, near Abuja. She was also a visiting professor to the Merwa International University, Abuja. Professor Cordelia Nwogbo Egu was the past Assistant District Governor 9127 Rotary International. Her elder sister, Dame Dr. Joy Okoro, a former FCT Water Board manager, the immediate past District Governor 9127 Rotary International, described her late younger sister, late Professor Cordelia Nwogbo Egu, as a close confidant.
She's someone that does not like trouble. If there's any problem, she gives way. She's always for peace. And being a Rotarian is not a mistake. It's just what Rotary portrays. Give to the less privileged. Care for others. No matter how much you have, try to impact on somebody. And she did that wonderfully well. Her club are even testifying.
The Vice Chancellor, Bingham University, Cairo, Professor Haruna Ayuba, who led the university community delegation, described Professor Cordelia as a hard-working dean, and the university will miss her dearly.
Yes, so she has been a very meticulous, very hard-working, very committed staff of the university. And so it was quite shocking to hear the news of her demise. And so we are here representing the university delegation. I came with the registrar, the deputy dean of the faculty, as well as other staff, to commiserate with the family.
Also, the director, NAPTIP, Dr. Dem Ebele Ulasi, a sister to the late Professor Cordelia Nwogbo Egu, described her as an embodiment of knowledge.
Again, that we humans that are still alive should just use this opportunity to go into sober reflection about this life. You know, because we forget so easily, except when things like this happen. We need to reevaluate our lives. We need to start correcting some of the things we are not doing well. Because this journey of life, we do not know, when it's going to come to an end.
Others who mourn her were the past district secretary, Rotary International, Rotary Ukeria Okeozo, and also the first son of late Professor Cordelia, Mr. Anthony Odensi.
We have been family friends. When I met her, a very simple and easygoing person, a selfless humanitarian in the Rotary family. Even as a professor, as a dean, you wouldn't know.
You've lost a part of you, and that's how to remain for the rest of my life. I've lost not just a mother, I lost an advisor, I lost a confidant, I lost the strength, the backbone of our family.
The exhortation was delivered by Lady Nwochukwu at St. James Anglican Communion, Asokoro. Topsy Gimba for Aso Television News.
And that's Aso Briefing for today. Many thanks for watching. I am Tina Oje Achu.